I have the great privilege to welcome our exquisite panel today on teaching performance design outside of university frameworks in Latin America. We've had a lot of discussions about pedagogy and teaching, and this is a very particular sort of subtopic that we have, and also intersecting with our interest in looking at performance design and its topics from the particular perspective of the Global South. So please join me in welcoming our wonderful panel moderated by by Eloisa Lira Bulcao, and she's going to present all the speakers. Welcome.
Thanks a lot. Be welcome, everybody, to hear our discussing and to hear all these works. And we can begin, and then we have time to continue talking about each work. Please, could you begin? Could you introduce yourselves? Daniela and Cristobal are beginning the speech.
Okay. Good morning.
Buenos días.
I am Daniela Portillo.
And I am Cristóbal Ramos.
Today we are here to represent the regional scenic design of Chile.
Aunque esta charla se llevará a cabo en inglés, si tu lengua materna es el español, te invitamos a escanear este código QR para seguirnos.
Although this talk will be conducted in English, if your native language is Spanish, we invite you to scan this QR code to follow along.
El lenguaje también puede ser centralista. El lenguaje también debe ser descolonizado.
Language can also be centralist. Language should also be decolonized. Thank you. Can we put the video now?
Our project is called Programa de Formación Regional en Diseño Escénico, which translates to Regional Training Program of Scenic Design.
But for today, to keep it short, we'll refer to it as FRDE program. With us are 11 scenic designers from different parts of Chile, including the north, center, and south, who are visiting the Prague Quadrennial for the first time.
This is a significant milestone in the history of Chilean participation in this important event, as it marked the expansion of our presence in PQ, including representation from the region. The themes that intersect in our project are
decentralization,
methodology,
identity,
authorship,
performance design,
body and territory,
expansion,
designaturgy,
creative parity,
the notion of the designer as a director,
audiences.
biography.
While we speak, you will be able to watch several videos showcasing our project, including our methodological space, classes, and projects carried out before, during, and after COVID-19 pandemic. You will also have the opportunity to see our students' original creations. But first of all, the term we will use to discuss Chilean design practices in the field of performing arts will be scenic design, diseño escénico. This is nowadays the most frequently term to define our profession in Chile, and it has also been adopted in other parts of Latin America as a way of talking about the field and its expansions.
Where we, as teachers, actively work within the university, focusing on academic education in scenic design. Today, we are here to reflect on how teaching practices on the border also contribute to our discipline.
Considering expanded practices and promoting decentralized education as a pedagogical alternative on the edge is one of the main driving forces that bring us here to reflect with you today. From the perspective of scenic design, the educational project we represent was created in 2018 based on our previous teaching experiences in the regions. We identify a lack of access on the ongoing education outside central territories when it comes to scenic design in Chile. Our project aims to contribute the addressing of this issue. Today, we want to showcase the work of this project that over the past 5 years has trained 7 generations of students through an annual and free training program in the north, center, and south of the country. Additionally, in 2021, we introduced an academic diploma format in collaboration with the University of Chile.
The focus we bring to introduce our project is a disciplinary perspective, which has evolved over the years toward a more expanded conception of scenic design, embracing terms such as performance design or expanded scenography. Furthermore, we are interested in the reflecting on the territorial qualities of each region and how they provide context and discourse in the field of scenic design.
The teaching of design in performing arts in Chile has a history that has approached 75 years since its introduction to university education. In this context, the strong influence of centralism in educational models has resulted that Santiago de Chile is still the only city in the country where you can train this academically, even 7 decades later. So consequently, cities outside the capital have been without a permanent training program in these areas for many decades. It is within this landscape that we as FRDE program aim to make a contribution. In addition to expanding education across the territory, we believe it is important to broaden the perspective of the discipline. This involves not only raising awareness of our profession and providing tools to understanding and practice, but also highlight the scenic designer's role as a creator who is able to work without old-fashioned hierarchies and where the creative parity is possible. Is to train professionals as creators and not just someone who solves aesthetics and technical problems to others. It is the responsibility of our discipline to question this and observe that we are experiencing an expansion around borders and roles, not only in our country, but in the world. In the pursuit of this goal, the concept of expanded scenography proposed by McKinney and Palmer has been very inspiring to us. It reminds us how blurred the boundaries are between the performative, live arts, multimedia, and social manifestations. While theater, of course, has been our home for centuries, scenic design is now becoming a part of new conversations and disciplinary evolutions.
Therefore, we have observed how, in our country, especially outside formal educational spaces, scenic design is moving toward a search for new ideas, using performance as a way of growing.
This landscape cannot leave educational institutions that provide scenic design training indifferent, particularly when looking towards the future of our discipline. In this context, while this project aims to provide a training method to highlight the work in different areas, it is also increasingly aiming to encourage artists to create their work based on design. Precisely because we are inspired to speak from design as a channel of communication, thoughts like C.C. Liu's concept about design-tergy resonate strongly on us. Liu believes that scenic design has dramaturgical nature, placing the role of design at the center of theatrical productions. Design theory explores and raises questions. According to Liu, this is itself an act of activism.
Our educational project aims to be part of that activism.
We cannot remain indifferent to building an education today that is mindful of the context in which it exists. It is for this reason and our interest in decentralization and expansion that the FRDE program has been defining its teaching approach. Because it is evident that the boundaries of scenic landscape are becoming increasingly blurred, and practices are expanding. Therefore, if 7 decades of invaluable university history in theater design in Chile has established a certain profile for understanding our profession, then why not open new educational perspectives in other training contents that broaden, complement, and challenge our practices? We believe that the teaching of scenic design today represents a paradox. On one hand, there is a focus on training designers within a more traditional structure of creation and production, while on the other hand, this is an opportunity to expand the system to enhance new aspects of our role. This involves advancing towards new forms of education with meaningful learning experiences that reflect on the territories, on their worldviews, and on the way they think sociopolitically. We believe that this expansion could be more fruitful within an education space on the edges, presenting itself as an alternative for those who have not had access to official training, offering decentralized education that addresses the previously mentioned gaps.
We should reflect on whether independence in terms of pedagogical authorship has also allowed us the progress toward this expanded methodological exploration.
In conclusion, throughout these years, we have witnessed how the FRDE program has contributed to democratization of access to education in this field, training artists from Arica to Magallanes in Chile, including participants from Argentina, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and Mexico. This has been possible throughout our alliance with the regions and their cultural spaces, and also with the link to new digital teaching platforms, tools we were forced to learn during COVID-19, and that have allowed us to virtually travel from the north to the south and across Latin America with our project, creating a strong community of regional scenic design in the borders.
As the FRDE program, we believe in education that looks at the present without distancing itself from its noble alliance with the performing art, but allowing itself to explore more autonomous creative spaces that will contribute to the enrichment of the history and evolution of our discipline.
We would like to see some of the works of our students now. And we would like to conclude this presentation also with the hope for a future education that is increasingly territorial, exploring the visual and discursive identity of scenic design from its diverse context and unique universe, expanding its boundaries and continuing to grow.
We are delighted to be part of PQ. Once again, we send our warm regard on behalf of the region of Tarapacá, Antofagasta, Coquimbo, El Maule, Biobío, and Los Ríos.
As well as all the regions that have been part of this project over the years. We now would like to invite you to push decentralization of our practices outside formal spaces in our territories. And of course, we would also like to invite you to follow our social media, who will soon appear there, yes. So if you want to follow us, please. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
It's in the last. No, creo que no. Ahí está. Yeah. Hi. Well, the presentation it's going to be half in English and half in Spanish and translated. I want to present us. ¿Esto está funcionando?
It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Okay. Well, this is just for, you know, she is Laura Marnesti. We belong to the Association Vestuario a Escena. She is costume designer and visual artist focusing on the exploration of sculptural values. She presented her work at PQ19 and World Stage Design 2022 and was third in the emerging exhibition. I am Carolina Jimenez. I am a scenographer and teacher with more than 20 years of experience. My work has been exhibited in several international costume exhibitions, and I am president of Vestuario a Escena. In this presentation, we are going to talk about how a non-scholar and practical course can transform theatrical costume education, or that's what we are willing to. Theater costume design and its democratic and inclusive nature. First, I want to talk about the National School of Theatrical Arts that was founded in 1949, and the scenography course is based in the National Center for the Arts since 1994. There has trained scenic designers who work professionally in dance, theater, and opera. We have a costume orientation that focuses on applying knowledge and costume design and production, including the use of materials, techniques, and finishes with the goal of enhancing creativity, functionality, and this course expands the possibilities for scenographers, providing guidance in costume design for various disciplines such as dance, opera, and theater, temporary installations, and alternative media. It also emphasizes the use of information technologies to improve efficiency and time management in presenting a costume design. Ultimately, the course aims to empower students to take ownership of their costume design projects and foster self-management skills. And well, this is what the curricula says. But in practice, we hardly can afford all of this because not always the place that we set with the actors, with the acting, with the actors, they are always absorbing all the activities that the costume designers are doing. Since 2014, I'm gonna talk about no more than 10 years. According to the National School of Theatrical Arts, we have graduate 53 students, and they have graduated 5 from the orientation for production, 17 from the orientation of set design, 18 for the orientation of costume design, and 13 for the orientation of lighting design. And in these students, 41 are women. In the traditional, I'm sorry, these are the numbers. In the traditional education system, we often find ourselves confined by a standardized curricula and rigid academic structures. These limitations can stifle creativity and exclude individuals with different talents and interests. However, when it comes to the captivating realm of the theater costume design, a non-scholar and practical course offers an alternative that breaks free from these constraints. These are the results of the last generation of the theatrical school. And as you see, they have very, very similar aesthetics, and they are 6 different designers. In my quest for creative alternatives in costume design, I came across Laura Marnesti's work in 2018, unveiling a realm where creativity knows no bounds. In this world, anyone driven by passion for costume design can chase their dreams unrestricted by academic prerequisites. Regardless of one's educational accomplishments, Laura warmly embraces individuals from diverse backgrounds, offering them the gateway to an acceleration artistic expedition.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to talk about how start this project. So, cuando yo estaba estudiando, ejerciendo como vestuarista, me di cuenta cómo descartaban ideas que yo consideraba valiosas por no trabajar con materiales textiles.
When I was studying with costumes, and I started to notice how many people start discrediting some of the materials that I was working with.
Comencé a estudiar una maestría para alimentar desde otras posibilidades mi práctica artística.
We started working on a master's to start kind of facilitating other practices.
Estudié escultura.
I studied sculpture.
Comencé a problematizar el vestuario.
I started problematizing costume.
Desde el cuerpo.
From the perspective of the body.
El movimiento.
Movement.
La materia.
The matter.
Y el contexto.
And the context.
Personas comenzaron a tener interés por mi trabajo.
People start having interest in my work.
Después de impartir una conferencia para 200 personas,
after I give a lecture with 200 people,
noté cómo los estudiantes les interesaba otra estrategia creativa.
I started looking and finding that students were interested in different creative strategies.
Y esto fomentó mi necesidad de comenzar a compartir mi visión respecto a vestuario.
This inspired me to start kind of sharing my ideas about costume.
Inició el proyecto del vestuario como pieza artística.
This is how it started my project.
Y les voy a mostrar un video al respecto.
And I'm going to be showing a video about that specific topic.
Yeah. It's time to the video, please.
El vestuario como pieza artística es un proyecto que tiene como objetivo expandir las posibilidades discursivas del vestuario escénico. Ha tenido conferencias y laboratorios en modalidad presencial y en línea. Han participado personas de distintas disciplinas. Se revisa teoría y práctica sobre conceptos y procedimientos escultóricos. Se exploran valores como forma, materia, espacio y tiempo para integrarlos al diseño de vestuario. Analizamos la obra de distintos artistas, experimentamos con diversos materiales, estrategias creativas y principalmente reflexionamos sobre la interrelación entre el cuerpo, el vestuario y el espacio. Los participantes han creado proyectos a partir de las siguientes premisas. Pensar el vestuario como un dispositivo proxémico donde la problemática artística puede surgir desde cualquier índole o ámbito. Reflexionar sobre la creación de un espacio habitable Analizar el comportamiento de la materia y someterla a una intención. Pensar en activación en lugar de actuación. Tomar valores escultóricos como guías para la acción. Concebir al vestuario como un motor dramático para la pieza escénica. En este proyecto, el propósito común es expresarnos libremente sobre los temas que nos apasionan. Atraviesan e interrogan, tomando al vestuario como soporte de obra.
Bien, pues con este proyecto observo cómo el vestuario es un medio de empatía.
So with this project, I see how costume can be a way of empathy.
Los participantes hacen propuestas con posturas políticas,
The participants have like their own perspectives and idea with political positions.
critican estereotipos
They criticize stereotypes,
o trabajan con temas para reconciliarse consigo mismos.
or they work with different topics to reconcile with themselves.
Cada propuesta tiene una investigación y una estructura de lenguaje visual.
Each proposal has an investigation and research with a visual language.
En el laboratorio les invito a escucharse a sí mismos,
In the lab, they are invited to listen to themselves,
a crear desde su emoción,
to create from their emotions,
desde sus saberes,
from their own knowledges,
desde quiénes son
from where they are,
y desde lo que tienen a su alcance.
and from what they have next to them.
A crear y realizar sin acelerar el proceso,
To create without accelerating the process,
dejando de pensar en un resultado final
stop thinking on the final outcomes,
para que la primera idea tome su rumbo.
so the first idea have its own way.
Les invito a hacer,
I invite you to be,
y si no saben qué hacer,
and if you don't know what to do,
plantear preguntas como guías.
you should start asking questions as guides.
Considero que el proceso creativo
I consider the creative process,
es una manera de reflexionar y de conocernos.
it's a way of reflecting and to knowing ourselves.
Sin embargo,
However,
como docente,
as a teacher,
quiero resaltar que este laboratorio ha sido un espacio seguro,
I want to highlight that this lab has been a safe space
donde podemos compartir la esencia de nuestra existencia
where we can share the essence of our existence
sin temor a mostrarnos vulnerables.
without being afraid to be vulnerable.
Es un espacio de escucha y amoroso,
It's a space for listening, lovely listening,
porque confío en una enseñanza
because we trust in different teaching experiences
cargada de empatía,
with a lot of empathy,
de ternura,
tenderness,
y que eso da sentido a la existencia.
and that's what makes our existence meaningful.
This workshop from 2019 to the date has presented 14 workshops, laboratories, 4 face-to-face, 2 hybrid, and 8 online. Attending a total of 161 participants, 131 women and 30 men. 4 short workshops with 90 people participating, and 5 conferences with around 1,000 people, 1,000 participants. This is how the vision of a non-scholar course can break free from academic prerequisites, welcome individuals from diverse backgrounds, and have impersonal interaction. These teaching and learning spaces have proven to be inclusive and diverse environments where everyone can acquire knowledge and develop at their own pace. In addition, They have proven to be a safe tool for democratizing access to knowledge and opportunities for personal and professional growth. Likewise, by presenting an innovative approach that broadens the typology of the stage costume, they generate greater attractiveness and interest on the part of learners, especially in this time of adaptation and change, where learning is no longer limited to the classroom, but is a continuous process that can accompany us through our lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Just one time. Okay, good morning. I'm here to present a work that we made in the pandemic 2019. We want, first of all, to thank Barbara for the creation and to choose us to be here, showing this work that is very dear to us. A joint effort so that we could provide students with quality education even in the pandemic times. Sorry, I'm with flu. I would also like to thank Heloísa Bucão for her mediation. We're going to show a 15-minute movie, and then when it's time for the debate, we will answer questions. And here is Caco, Carlos Eduardo Pelquet, that represents the technician part of our work, and Marcinha, who will be his translator. Marcinha is also representing João Andreotti, her son, who, with Caco, built the robotic light system that you're going to see in the film. We will give to you a card with our key code. That is Ecosistema Sônia Paiva. And you can see much more of our work in our lab. Thank you very much.
Olá, meu nome é Sônia Paiva, sou professora da Universidade de Brasília. Estou lá há 23 anos e fundamentei a área do desenho da cena no departamento. Durante os 10 primeiros anos eu trabalhei com as minhas turmas como laboratoriais vinculadas a projetos do departamento. De 2010 para cá, eu formei o meu grupo de extensão de ação universitária, meu programa que chama-se Laboratório Transdisciplinar de Cenografia, onde eu tenho pessoas de todas as áreas da universidade trabalhando comigo. É um laboratório que pensa holisticamente, fora das caixas disciplinares. O laboratório foi criado para participação na Mostra dos Estudantes da Quadrennial de Praga de 2011. Em 2015, eu fui curadora da Mostra dos Estudantes e fomos para a Quadrennial de Praga com um stand, chamava-se Brasil Labirintos Compartilhados. O laboratório passou esse processo todo comigo e nós fomos tanto criadores como executores do projeto da Mostra de 2015. Em 2019, voltamos para a Quadrennial de Praga com desenhos narrativos para um workshop na DAMU. Nesse tempo de pandemia, o laboratório deixou a tarefa de fazer o repertório do laboratório e veio para me auxiliar a transformar todo o ensino de presencial à distância. Isso quer dizer, tivemos que gravar todas as aulas para deixar o material gravado para os alunos, tivemos que reformular todo o processo, então toda uma agenda e o que eu chamei de cronograma em mutação, porque de 15 em 15 dias a gente ia e repensava o projeto, conversava com os alunos. Nós tivemos um trabalho muito grande de relacionamento com os alunos, porque aqui a gente tem uma quantidade, uma diversidade de capacidades, de tecnologias, da pessoa ter ou não ter um celular, dela ter ou não ter acesso à internet. É muito distante as realidades uma das outras. Então, a gente, pelo relacionamento interpessoal, a gente realmente tentou diminuir essa distância. Bom, nesse nosso momento de pandemia, nós brasileiros também estamos vivendo uma forma diferenciada, já que o nosso governo é negacionista, não acredita na educação, não acredita na ciência, está cada vez tirando mais dinheiro da educação, tirando mais as possibilidades da gente trabalhar. E nós, professores, tivemos que abraçar a ideia e essa coisa entrou na vida da gente. Ou seja, minha casa hoje é meu estúdio de gravação, é meu trabalho e por assim ficou, porque pelo governo a última coisa que vai crescer é a educação. Então eu acho que esse esforço que a gente fez é um esforço pessoal, meu e do laboratório, no sentido de não deixar a peteca cair. O objetivo da disciplina Encenação Teatral 3 é capacitar o aluno a criar e desenvolver projetos de cenografia e iluminação em grupo. No ensino presencial, já utilizávamos a maquete do Teatro Sesc Garagem, que é um espaço cênico multiuso, testando as criações em escala de 1:25. No início da pandemia, nossa tarefa foi adaptar essa dinâmica presencial para o ensino remoto.
Eu sou Caio Sato, mestrando em artes e membro do LTC desde os meus 17 anos. A minha colaboração para o ensino remoto foi a construção desse estúdio no salão que a gente está vendo aqui agora, na casa da professora Sônia Paiva, por exemplo, com a construção desse tripé de mesa para as demonstrações e do fundo chroma key. Além disso, eu fui responsável pela gravação, edição e produção dos vídeos junto com a professora Sônia.
Foram desenvolvidas estratégias mesclando o ensino síncrono com assíncrono. O mais importante para nós era entendermos coletivamente o processo.
Eu sou a Lua e minha principal função é manter a nossa comunicação com os alunos funcionando. Eu acompanho a dinâmica dos grupos para saber como eles estão se relacionando e se o projeto está fluindo. E eu também acompanho os alunos de uma maneira um pouquinho mais individual. Então eu presto atenção na participação de cada um. E aí eu entro em contato para saber como eles estão passando, como está a saúde, o emocional, como está a família deles. Também para saber se tem alguma dificuldade técnica, problema com equipamento, com internet. As criações do desenho de cena e dos planos de luz, eles foram feitos em grupo, remotamente. Então, dentro dos grupos, cada aluno construiu a sua parte do cenário na sua casa e um entregador foi contratado para recolher todas essas peças e levar todo esse material para o estúdio no Parque de Produções, onde a gente fez a montagem dos projetos dentro da maquete. A montagem ela foi realizada pela equipe do LTC, seguindo o planejamento e as indicações dos alunos, e foi transmitida ao vivo para a turma inteira. E esse foi um momento de eureka para todo mundo. quando a gente virtualmente se sentiu como se tivesse em uma montagem teatral presencial. Então, estava todo mundo ali na hora, solucionando questões da iluminação e do cenário, só que a nossa equipe no estúdio e os alunos, cada um na sua casa.
Não, então, agora a gente precisa de comandos aqui. Bota isso primeiro, bota isso depois.
Legal.
Eu acho que pode começar colocando o papel cartão preto, né? Como se fosse o piso.
Esse aqui, Jude, é na entrada, me ajuda aí a posição.
Não, a cortina fica lá atrás do palco giratório, logo atrás dele.
A grande ou a pequena?
As duas. É tipo, a pequena fica logo na frente da grande, tem tipo um corredor entre elas.
O lateral já é um pouquinho atrás do palco giratório.
Ele tá em alguma instrução aqui, como que é melhor de se posicionar?
Tem um desenho, mais ou menos, pra dar uma ideia de como posicionar.
Tem um desenho mais na frente, cara, eu acho. É um desenho de planta baixa, né, Judy?
Caco, eu posso pedir pra depois você tentar uma última luz? Que no grupo depois a gente tava conversando sobre colocar um azul para as outras partes, assim, da peça mesmo. Só se não for atribular. Se for atribular, tudo bem.
O diretor mandou, o iluminador atende. Seria mais ou menos isso que a senhora diretora deseja?
Exatamente.
Aproveita! No primeiro semestre de 2020, nós fizemos um site chamado Entre Temas. Foi a primeira edição dessa exposição colaborativa do eixo de encenação, promovida por mim e pelo Laboratório Transdisciplinar de Cenografia. A partir da exposição do Entre Temas do primeiro semestre, criamos então uma revista online e o tema desse semestre chama-se Tramóias. O projeto de iluminação automatizada que desenvolvemos para a maquete do Teatro Sesc Garagem surgiu para suprir os experimentos com dedoche de luz e complementar as videoaulas sobre equipamentos de iluminação teatral que produzimos para o semestre anterior.
Tudo começou com a desmontagem dessa lanterninha de LED a pilha. O João trocou as pilhas por fios elétricos para começar a comandar o LED pelo Arduino. Fizemos então os primeiros testes para saber se era possível controlar a intensidade e tempo. Depois a gente voltou a testar o LED na maquete para buscar entender como é que seria essa escala da iluminação na maquete. E logo a gente começou a testar outros modelos de fontes de luz, como chips e fitas de LED. Agora, a brincadeira começou a ficar séria mesmo quando a gente inventou de criar moving light em miniatura. Procuramos por diversos modelos de LED que tivessem diferentes temperaturas de cor e diferentes ângulos de abertura do facho. Paralelo a essa pesquisa de escala, de brilho, de intensidade, de fontes de LED, a gente buscava uma solução de estrutura de montagem e fixação dos equipamentos, de modo que eles ficassem livres, sem afetar a estrutura da maquete. A iluminação robotizada e automatizada foi o grande incremento que a gente conseguiu dar para as aulas na maquete desse semestre. Com a participação do João, a gente conseguiu explorar uma série de conceitos de movimento e de controle de luz que até então eram vistos em programas de 3D, que é muito útil, mas não passa aquela sensação de realidade como a maquete física passa. E o interessante dessa automatização é que, assim como no teatro real, existe todo um sistema completo e complexo que envolve elétrica e eletrônica para fazer com que as coisas aconteçam. Então, por exemplo, se no teatro a gente usa dimmer e min power para parte elétrica e protocolo DMX para controle, na maquete a gente está usando fonte de 12 volts, de 5 volts, ponte H, sendo tudo controlado por Arduino. E assim, com a estrutura física, os equipamentos montados e o sistema funcionando, a gente partiu para a última etapa da iluminação, que é a programação computadorizada da operação dos equipamentos.
Eu agradeço a todos vocês, todo o laboratório, ao João, ao Caca, ao Caio, à Lua, Gabriel. Ai, meu Deus, eu vou esquecer de metade da turma, mas vamos embora. Dina, Ingrid, Lara, Amanda, Judy. Quem é que eu estou esquecendo? Eric, Júlia, Horta, enfim. É muito bom estar com vocês, muito bom ter uma equipe tão maravilhosa que me apoia e só tenho que agradecer, é muito bom mesmo. E agradecer muito aos professores que estão com a gente, a Agamenon, a Fabiana e ao Érico, porque eles estão comigo desde o primeiro, acreditam nessa loucura, né? E vamos em frente.
Well, I want to thank all of you for the wonderful presentations. It's a pleasure to share with you these researches. I used to research about the one who is my great master, Luis Carlos Ripper, and Sonia says that she's a stage designer because of him too. He was a great stage designer, Brazilian stage designer with many prizes. One of our greatest cinema director says that he is the one who began the art direction in Brazilian movie. And I worked with him in a research space that was a technical center of scenic arts, and he used to make his research. He worked a lot to have Brazilian publications about the techniques, about all this practical knowledge that we have. And he used to say that the practical of the favelas, that everybody works together to build a house, is the way we should teach our way of doing scenography in Brazil. And it's very good to see all these researches going in collective ways. And I used to teach scenography. It's the links with your researches. I used to teach scenography to actors and actresses in a theater course, and because they used not to understand how was the process, the creation process of all this surround, the costumes and the wear and the know-how it was created. Why was choose this tissue and these materials and these colors and these shapes, and I provoked them to create some things to understand, and each other used to try to understand and to interpret each other's creations. And it was very interesting, and many of them wanted to know more about scenography after this practice. And I have 2 books about Luis Carlos Ripper. One of them is my doctoral research, and he was a great educator too. He made many schools projects. He used to think about the places should be, the cultural centers should be places for teaching, for producing, and for the memory of the scenic arts. And all his projects has these 3 lines of the projects. Well, I'd like to know if anybody wants to make some questions. First, we can change our feelings about these presentations that were made here. And I ask you
yes.
if you...
I'm very grateful to be in this panel, Cristobal and I, because I think the most important thing that crosses our 3 presentations is our caring for pedagogy on scenic design. When you talk about empathy, when you are caring about your students, when we are trying to know the way they are looking for their own voice and identity, it's because we are not only teaching scenography, we are not only teaching scenic design, we are building a community through pedagogy to talk about performing arts. And I think that's something that is similar in the 3 projects. And we are very grateful also to Barbara to pick us, because we actually talk in the same language. Yes.
Well, the same. I think it's very important that we are sharing the same worries in Latin America, and that we are focusing in the students more than in the last work, because usually in theater we are waiting to see how things are going to be on the stage, and of course it's important, but sometimes for the students it's not the most important, no? And it's amazing what you did in pandemic, because there were no theater, and they should feel embraced by you, and I think it's great. That's very important.
Thank you very much. I think I always say that if you want to be God, do miniatures. And then I'm very concerned about your speaking, because why we don't know each other? That was my first question in my mind. I want to share with you guys. We are talking the same language, and I'm so proud of our meeting. Yeah. Thank you very much, Barbara.
Voy a hablar en español, voy a requerir un poco de traducción.
I can help you.
Veo y sé que nuestra realidad en Latinoamérica, nuestra realidad sociopolítica, geográfica, nos cruza.
So I see our reality, our social-political, territorial reality crosses us in these 3 presentations.
El centralismo y la desigualdad es parte de nuestra realidad.
So the centralism and inequalities is of course part of our reality.
Y nosotros nos toca resistir, pero también nos toca proponer.
So we are here to resist, but also to propose.
Y veo que en este panel hay muchas propuestas que están en búsqueda justamente de acercar metodologías, formación, educación, reflexión, empatía a nuestros estudiantes.
So I see that in this panel, every one of us is looking about methodologies, empathy, and ways of approaching with our students. Yes.
It's interesting that I remember HIP had a project in our institution. He made a meeting during 40 days with technicians, theatrical technicians, theatrical architects, and scenographers to be together during 40 days, Latin American ones, changing ideas and changing terms. And there's a little publication with a translation of all the technical terms in each country, Latin American country, there are different too. Even in Spanish, there are different terms. And it was a great force that he made. And another thing I would like to share is that I made a postdoctoral research during 6 years in State University, where our line of research line was to the day-to-day, how the day-to-day teaches everybody, how the methodologies of learning and teaching are the same thing. We always learn and teach at the same time. And all the places teaches us, the spaces teaches us, our bodies teaches us. And I used to make some workshops that, and in my creation processes, the actors can create the scenography too, because their bodies occupy the space. And during the research, the rehearsals, all the movements, all the speeches, everything helps to create the scenography too. It's a collaborative process, creation process.
Eloise, I think we must open the discussion because our time is running.
Yes.
Is anybody that wants to talk and ask something for us? Yes.
Anybody? Does anybody want? Oh, okay. You can see the letter.
Hi there, my name is Ilke. I'm from South Africa, and I was a little bit late. I had a very nice party last night, so I was a little bit late this morning. So I'm hoping that what I'm asking isn't stating something that you've already discussed in the first half hour. I teach, I've just resigned, but I taught for 10 years set and costume design at Rhodes University in the Eastern Cape in South Africa. And our course is a semester course only. And working online with students who in a BA have never touched, have never drawn. They pick up the pencil to make their signature and write, but it's the first time that they see themselves, the imagination come to life in this discipline. But I am 52, and I have been doing art since I've picked up a pencil. So I have 45 years of knowing that sits in my body. And I found it an interrogation of myself to release that and come from a place of not knowing while teaching knowledge. Because I have to step in a position of trying to imagine what the student is experiencing. And I wonder whether you feel that, and whether you know of others who feel that and know or have put methods in place to unlearn So it's not the doing and the learning, but learning to unlearn, as it were. Is there something that resonates with you? Or do you know someone else who researches this or talks about it or develops that? Thank you.
Sorry. I think we never know. That's the question. That's the answer. We never know nothing until find the student. And the student has to teach us how they want to work. And we are a kind of mentor of this path. I think I never know. I never know what will happen. I just want to play. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. If you play with them, you have always a good response, a good answer. That's what I think.
When I was younger, I always dreamed to be a professor at the university. And even though I truly love my master professors, I decided that before being a professor, I was going to study pedagogy because I needed tools to be able to teach not only in a kind way, but with methodology. Sometimes the teaching of arts, it's too much about the feeling of the professor, too much about how he thinks about the work. So how can I be unlearned to learn how to teach was one of my challenges when I was younger. So I decided to study pedagogy first before becoming a sonographer professor. And I think this was my way of unlearning too.
Para mí es bien importante comprender qué pasa con las nuevas generaciones.
For me, it's very important to know what happens with new generations.
Siento que comprender el contexto y las preguntas que ellos tienen
I feel that understanding the context and the questions that they have
es una manera también de aprender.
It's another form of learning.
Conocer qué les preocupa del mundo,
To know what are they concerned about the world,
del país,
of their country,
y que la vida va cambiando muy rápido.
and that the life is changing very fastly.
Entonces, también me propongo en el espacio de enseñanza,
For that reason, I always propose that in the space of learning,
ser la estudiante de ellos.
to be a student of them.
I want to say one more thing about that. In the pandemic time, each semester, we put the theme for our students about how they are feel in that moment. And then if they are always close in their home, that will be the theme for our challenge, for discuss, for think about what is happening. That's resonate with her, because if you are talking about that moment, what they are feeling in that moment, you are so close with them. We do not need to teach the great scenographers at the moment. We need to teach how to be an artist, how to live as an artist, and how to resonate in this moment that we are, that is very difficult. I'm an artist since I was young, but now I'm not feel myself as an artist. I feel myself as a hub, do you know? It's something that came from me, but I brought from them. I don't know who I am actually now. And it's very good.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Østergaard. I'm from Denmark. And thank you so much. I really enjoy this panel. I really like that it's not the North that are speaking now. but I am. Anyway, I have a question for you, Daniela and Cristobal, quite practical. It seems like a lot of the work that your students are doing are out of the theater space. Can you maybe talk a little bit about how you, I'm just very curious about how do you work with the students thinking about the scenography and site that are not in this black box? So, yeah.
It has two answers. The one is budgets. Sometimes it's not easy to create performance design within the cultural spaces because we don't have like schedules and budget to be there. But also because our program is aiming to push the boundary, so maybe the black box is not something that we are interested anymore. And because our students want to talk about their territories, and their territories are on the streets, their territories are outside, their territories outside specific, site generics, other places. Maybe the territory is the kitchen of their grandmother and not the black box anymore. So, of course, it has to be with budget on opportunities to be inside a stage, but also is because maybe we are not longer interested on that.
Sorry, I just have to comment because I think it's really interesting to see. Sorry, it's just very, for me, it's very wonderful to see and also just to hear. I think there's a lot for someone like me to learn from this kind of approach on the site specific, because I think we have an idea of how it is here in Europe, but I think your ideas is quite more radical, and I think that is really wonderful, and I think we need to hear more about that. Yeah, yeah.
Hola, buenos días. Voy a hacer una pregunta bilingüe, ¿sí? Así que lo hago en español y después en inglés. I'll do it in Spanish and then in English. Me llamo Carolina, soy una artista y una educadora de Brasil. Y parte de lo que pasa aquí en esta cuadrienal es, no sé si os ha pasado, pero para mí sí, una gran crisis existencial. What happens here in this quadrennial, I don't know if it's happened to you, but for me, yes, a massive existential crisis. Así que lo primero que quería decir es darles gracias por abrir este espacio de pensar la enseñanza en las afueras de la academia. I want to thank you for this refreshing thought of considering teaching outside of the academy. Y bueno, yo enseño hace más de 20 años y nunca me ha tocado hacer un máster o un doctoramiento, pero sí veo que he hecho cosas muy importantes y hoy enseño a profesores. Soy como una educadora de profesores. I haven't really been interested, or it hasn't really happened to me doing a master's or a PhD, but I've been developing projects in teacher education that I felt are very, very relevant, even being outside the university. So, lo que quería decir es, porque hay que tener un sistema para ¿cómo se dice?, para registrar los retos o la metodología. There must be a system for you to record the challenges and the accomplishments of these non-academic projects. Así que mi pregunta es, ¿cómo están haciendo eso? ¿De qué manera están dejando estos registros para las generaciones que ahí vienen? So my question is, how are you recording? How are you organizing this knowledge through more like free education? How is this being put to stay for the coming generations? That's it.
Ok, a ver, entendiéndote mejor, ¿qué puertas se van abriendo para las futuras?
¿Cómo lo están registrando? O sea, en libros, ¿qué material se queda ahí como registro? Porque estamos en las afueras de la academia, ¿sí? En la academia ya tiene una tesis, una cosa así, pero ¿cómo plantean dejar para el futuro estos estudios, estos retos, estos registros?
Ok. Bueno, en este caso del taller que tengo,
In this case of the workshop that I have,
llevo una bitácora
I have some kind of diary
de cada curso
of every course
y por cada estudiante.
and for each student.
Porque también es importante conocer el contexto de cada uno.
Because it's also important to know the knowledge of each of the students.
Y los recursos son muy diferentes en México.
And the resources in Mexico are very different.
Entonces, voy creando un archivo.
So I'm creating an archive.
Y espero una posibilidad para hacer una publicación.
And I hope for a possibility to do a publication.
Una manera de difundir son los talleres y las conferencias.
A way to promote the work is our workshops and conferences.
Y también tener un espacio de diálogo con los estudiantes.
And also to have a space of dialogue with the students.
Donde ellos puedan pensar en cómo gestionar las ideas que reciben.
Where they can also think about how they can promote the ideas that they receive.
Y otro punto importante
And another important thing to consider
es crear alianzas con colectivos
is to create alliances with collectives
o con institutos.
or with institutes.
También es un hecho
It's also a fact
que hay instituciones que no abren las puertas,
that there are institutions that do not open doors,
pero podemos abrir internet,
but we can open internet,
Zoom,
y
no sé, muchas estrategias más para difundir los pensamientos.
and other strategies to make these ideas flow.
Creo que la educación debe ser libre y no siempre pasa.
I think that education should be free and this not always happens.
Y también creo que la educación está en resiliencia.
And I think the education is in resilient mode.
Y por eso estas son algunas estrategias.
And that's why these strategies are starting to becoming more aware.
Otra manera es la exposición.
Other form is exposition.
Hice una página.
I did a website.
Se llama Intras Studio.
The name is Intras Studio.
Donde combino qué pasa virtual y qué pasa físicamente.
Where I combine what happens online and in living time.
Y ahí los estudiantes pueden subir sus exposiciones.
And that's where the students can upload their expositions.
Es un espacio para difundir y promover el trabajo con quienes colaboro.
It's a space to share the work with the people that I collaborate with.
Eso de mi parte.
I want to say too about that something. In my university, my work's not really welcoming because my flag is a transdisciplinary education, and that's quite impossible in the university that is still being disciplinary. And a guy that I study said that discipline, it's a jail. You never know what is outside of the jail. And then open this jail like a transdisciplinary field. You must do things that is out of the university. That's why I made my ecosystem, because there you can see my doctor thesis, my everything that I made, but everything that we are making in this, because it's a kind of outsider, you know, and it's in this moment it's not easy to spread these ideas, but we are trying to do the best we can do to live for others. And my place will be an institute, and I have no child, no children, and I will give for Brasilia my place. And maybe that's the way.
traducción. En el caso nuestro, es muy parecido a lo que sucede también con ustedes, ¿no?
We have a very similar case to our friends from Mexico.
Nosotros trabajamos con la metodología de la bitácora.
We work with the Journal of Design, like a process design book.
En ella queda el registro del proceso, porque creemos que el proceso incluso es más importante que el resultado.
And we love this kind of methodology because sometimes process is more important for us than the result, and it's there in the book.
No creemos en las notas, en las calificaciones.
We don't put notes, we don't qualificate with numbers, never.
Porque no da cuenta justamente de los procesos creativos en cada estudiante.
It doesn't reflect the process of our students. There's other ways of evaluating for us.
Y también esta metodología nos acerca a las distintas realidades de cada estudiante.
This methodology also helps us to be more near to the reality of every one of our students.
Tenemos estudiantes que vienen de la arquitectura, del diseño, de la enseñanza.
Because our students are very diverse, we have people from architecture, from teaching, from design, not only from performing arts.
Y la principal en Chile, que es la autoformación.
And to auto-teach yourself, I would say.
Complementame.
We've been having an archive for the past 5 years that is more than 200 of these journals from all over the regions of Chile. So that's part of the way we save our methodology. Also because of COVID, we have an archive, a digital archive of the way we are doing classes. And as Laura, we also have an archive of the way we are teaching, because all the time we are trying to force to do it again better. So we have meetings as professors, because we are here representing a bigger project. There's other sonographers. One of the most important for us is Catalina Devia, that is part of this project, a great master sonographer in Chile. And we talk every time before the class, after the class, to make it better.
I'd like to talk about, I have two publication projects. First of all, I would like to tell you that I didn't have the university experience in sonography. I studied industrial design. I'm completely multidisciplinary. I graduated in industrial design, then I made a master in production engineering, and my doctoral research was in scenic arts, and my postdoctoral research in education. And I learned sonography working, doing lots of things with Hippie. In this place we worked together. It was a research place, but it was not university. It was a practical research place. It was wonderful, but when arrived a neoliberal government of Collor in the 90s, they stopped the project, and it's just there, but all the projects were stopped. And I have two publications projects. One of them is a practice that we had there. I was HIP assistant in a process of creation of costumes and set designs for a play. And we note everything, every step we made. It was a huge group, and I tried to publish this experience, tables and drawings, and even each step of it was a publication about the process, the creation process of sonography. And another one is I was his student in a course about semiology, scene semiology, and he took our notes during the course, and he planned a book about his course. And I have all his speeches and all his drawings, and the cover of one of my books is one drawing about thinking about the scenography. And I want to publish this experience, to share, just to share. It's important to share all these experiences, really.
Hi, I'm Marina. I'm from Brazil as well. And first I want to thank you all because it's really pretty to see this encounter from Latin America. I think we all have so much to offer to each other. And I think that's what my question is about as well, because I think it's really interesting the different approaches and non-traditional European approaches to theater, to scenography. And I was wondering if in the teaching space, if the students, is there any opportunity that they also have contact with other places from Latin America? Because here in Europe, you see a lot this exchange also with, for example, Erasmus programs. They're always changing. I know we are a little bit bigger than Europe, but I wanted to know if there's any space for that or any plans to do it, because I think it would be super interesting. Yep.
Hello. So, since pandemic, since COVID-19, we developed a program that is online. So that's why we have people from other countries from Latin America. In this precise moment, we are about to launch a project that is bringing our professors that had been doing design for 40 years, and they are going to give master classes for people from everyone who's interested. It's free, and it's a 7 months training program. We always try to have a free program for the students, and that's why we've been having people also from Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, etc. So that's an opportunity. Of course, we want to know you in some way, and sometimes the screens doesn't let that happen. So we also managed to have like presential encounters, but our program is open to people and it's free, and you can be in any part of the world and still learn with us. Follow us in Instagram.
Hello, my name is Graziella. I'm from Brazil also. I don't have a question, I just have a remark. I have not been in Chile and Mexico, but I know that like in Brazil, making art and culture in Latin America, it was always a matter of resistance. And in the last times, more than this, is like a transgression. So I am very happy to be here, and I'm very grateful that you crossed the ocean and promote us to be part of this very big transgressive moment.
Hi, I'm Edgar. I'm a graphic designer of Mexico, and I want to ask you, what do you think of keep exploring the media and the social media as a stage for the theater and for the scenography? Because I see that you have also like Zoom experience and things like that. And for us as students and for Latin Americans, it's very comfortable to, you know, open your phone and watch TikTok and things like that, and be in a performance or things like that. And what I want to know, what do you think about that? Bueno, en español, me gustaría saber qué opinan sobre encontrar a la social media como al Instagram, TikTok y las nuevas redes sociales como un escenario para seguir explorando el teatro a través del, pues, el internet.
You have to be a friend of those guys that are there, that are our students. They use Instagram as a platform to develop their work. And because of pandemic, because of COVID, when we were in lockdown, many of their work was video performances. So they squeezed from lockdown to record these amazing videos, and then they put it on Instagram. So sometimes it's the platform, and we as professors are all the time pushing ourselves to know what they want to express or where they want to express their ideas. That's why Instagram in this moment is kind of a very friendly platform for us, because it's a way of getting to other people. So yes, for us it's a platform of showcasing, and also a platform to try new things in media, to talk about performance design. Yeah, totally. So it's a way of doing it for us.
In Brazil, at the pandemic times, we had so many experimentation in all those kind of platforms. And I feel that for the first time, the theater start to get together with video art and technology, because I have a degree a master degree in animation, and I have a master degree in technology. And then for me it was like playing in the swimming pool. I was so happy with this because I could mix everything together. And then maybe if we can find something good in this pandemic, was this kind of unity of the technologies and the old technologies and everything together. But I'm so sad when we came back to the present moment, and the guy said, "Oh, nevermore." I said, "Oh, what? What are you saying, nevermore? You have to take the good things, the good parts." And then things are getting, I think, they think that is some way to go back. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that we must use everything to make theater outside of the stage and inside of the medias, because that's the way.
Well, we are finishing our time. I want to one more question?
Oh,
Where?
Thank you. Hi, folks.
Okay, okay.
Sego Sewasquego, and good morning. I'm an Indigenous designer from Canada, and yeah, I just want to say I have so many affinities with what you were saying about moving away from the academy and offering things for free, and also site-specific. All these things to me are very Indigenous ideals as well. In terms of scenography and performance, and the ways of traditional and Indigenous performance, we didn't have those spaces, and I'm curious to know if you have Indigenous students who you're teaching, and this idea of holistic education too is something that I'm very interested in, and yeah, I was just curious if that's something that you see in your programs in Canada. We're certainly seeing more and more Indigenous designers in our programs as well.
Just want to answer?
We do, we have, and also as their students are from the regions outside of the center, the connection with the culture and identity of the territories, it's something that is very attached to their discourse. So not only because of their origin, but because of their ways of talking about their own identities outside centralism. So yes, we will still having them, of course.
Well, we had a great experience. I don't know if everybody saw a Brazilian exhibition here in Picu, and we could get, because of this new system of keeping together by internet, the creation of the works were made by 29 artists in groups online, and people from all around our big country. People from extreme North Brazil, extreme South Brazil. It was a great experience, and we are very happy to win the Best Teamwork Award, because it was we were doing it. It's what we valorized. It was a great award. I think many thanks for all of you. It was great to share our experiences, and thank for everybody who was here, asking and receiving and changing ideas in these transdisciplinary ways and in the collective ways of doing art and of living and of sharing our thoughts and our hearts.
Thank you so much to our wonderful speakers and interpreters. Thank you to our audiences. Thank you.